But you agree that there are separate provisions, particularly for appropriations laws, is it
Yes.
not?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So, when certifying a bill as urgent then, is the President required under the Constitution to specify the public calamity or emergency to support such certification?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it not enough that a calamity or public emergency is mentioned so as to meet this requirement?
Your Honor, if it is mentioned, it is enough, Your Honor, declaration from the President.
Okay. If Congress then enacts a bill into law that has been certified as urgent by the President, but the public calamity or emergency was not specifically provided, then such certified as urgent law should be declared as unconstitutional? Is your position?
Yes, Your Honor. It's our position, Your Honor.
So whose fault is it then that supposedly improperly certified as urgent bills were enacted into law? Is it the executive branch, headed by the President, or the legislative branch who acted on such certification?
Your Honor, it's the executive branch, Your Honor, as embodied in our petition, Your Honor.
Are you saying that Congress can reject a certification done by the President for a bill to be enacted into law?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, if even if the Congress decided to act on such certified as urgent bill and enacted it into law, it should be the executive branch who should be blamed for such law?
Your Honor, it's the assessment of the executive branch, Your Honor, and it just so happens that we have a law, Your Honor, defining calamity, Your Honor, that could be interpreted also, Your Honor, by the Congress.
So even if Congress acted on an improperly certified bill, you're saying that when this is enacted into law, it should be the executive branch who should be blamed, no, for such law?
Yes, Your Honor. There's also the discretion part on the part of the Congress, Your Honor.
You know that law can be vetoed.
Yes,
And,
Your Honor.
Or any veto, for that matter, can also be overturned by Congress as well.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. For the 2024 national budget, you confirmed that the total amounts in the NEP submitted by the President and what are contained in House Bill number 8980, or the General Appropriations Bill from the House, and the committee report number 155 of the Senate are the same insofar as the amounts contained therein are concerned.
Yes,
Is it
Your
not?
Honor.
So when it comes to the national budget, the Senate does not come out with a counter bill. Do you agree with that?
Your Honor, if you mention the Senate, Your Honor, there's also this BICAM, Your Honor, that also has the Senate component, Your Honor. And the issue in this case, Your Honor, was the proceedings there which increased the amount in the unprogrammed appropriations, Your Honor. So I just want to clarify that.
But you know that with respect to appropriations laws, only the House of Representatives comes out with a version, like a House bill version, which is referred to as the GAB, and the Senate does not come out with a counterpart bill. Are you aware of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
So in other words, it's not similar to any kind of law wherein there is a bill in the House and then there is a counterpart bill in the Senate with respect to laws outside of appropriation laws.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So under Section 24, Article 6, that's slide number 4, all appropriations bills, among others, shall originate exclusively in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments. Do you confirm then that it is the House which principally determines appropriation laws and not the Senate,
Yes, Your Honor.
based on that constitutional provision, Section 24?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So if the Senate does not propose or concur with amendments with the appropriations bill from the House, and there are disagreeing provisions, if you know, what will become of the bill that will come from the House?
Your Honor, the House is equipped, Your Honor, to my knowledge, because there are numerous, Your Honor, other than the versus the numbers in the Senate, Your Honor. That's why this, I want to say that this is crafted this way, Your Honor. The constitutional provision is crafted this way because in the House, Your Honor, they are properly equipped by their numbers, Your Honor, to analyze, Your Honor, and to sift through, Your Honor, the NEP, Your Honor, prepared by the President.
Okay. If there is no BICAM committee, bicameral, no, conference committee, how will disagreeing provisions be addressed or settled by Congress?
Your Honor, I just want to point out, Your Honor, that the process, process within which you determine the change, Your Honor, actually the increase in the amount of unprogrammed appropriations, is not commensurate to the analysis, Your Honor, as given in the National Expenditure Program, Your Honor, and in the General Appropriations Bill, Your Honor.
Okay. I just want you to take note of Section 24 because that's also the subject, no, of your petition. Now, if you know, why did Pimentel III and Alvarez not file a petition before the Supreme Court to question the GAAs prior to the 2024 GAA, like in 2022 and 2023, where there were increases in the appropriations for unprogrammed appropriations?
Your Honor, to my knowledge, this is a stepwise increase, Your Honor, in the amount of and the bicameral conference committee, Your Honor, increased this, Your Honor, and excluded it in the total for the appropriations, Your Honor. Our position, Your Honor, is that it should not violate 25(1) of Articles 6, Section 25(1) of Article 6, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, but by the way, based on the records that I have, in 36 years, there were 8 GAAs where unprogrammed appropriations were increased. And it is on record that this is the first time that Senator Pimentel, Coco Pimentel III, and Alvarez, Congressman Alvarez, filed a petition to question any excess in unprogrammed appropriations. Is it not?
Yes, Your Honor. And this is a unique case, Your Honor, because they are excluding it from the total, Your Honor, of the appropriations, Your Honor, as contained in 25(1), Your Honor.
Yes, but Counsel, as I was saying earlier, in 2022, there was an increase in the unprogrammed appropriations. In 2023, there was also an increase in the unprogrammed appropriations, but no petition was filed by Pimentel or even Alvarez regarding these increases. Is it not?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, why again is it that Pimentel III and or Alvarez not asking for unprogrammed appropriations to be nullified and instead the entire 2024 GAA to be declared unconstitutional?
Your Honor, to my readings, Your Honor, and to my talks with my clients, Your Honor, this also involves the emergency, the declaration of emergency or calamity, Your Honor, which the position of my clients, it does not exist, Your Honor, at that time, Your Honor. That's why the expediency by which this enrolled bill, Your Honor, was made, was pointed to in our petition.
Okay. But of course, actually, even if it was passed without 3 readings in the House, it still went to the Senate, is it not?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then it was only after both chambers or houses have reconciled, perhaps even their disagreeing provisions, that eventually the enrolled bill was transmitted to the Office of the President sometime in December, is it not?
Yes, Your Honor. It
Okay.
was opposed by my client, Your Honor,
So
Pimentel.
in other words, it took a while eventually before this particular appropriations law reached the office of the President.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Incidentally, is it correct to say that Pimentel III and Alvarez are not completely against ang program appropriations and they question the 2024 JA because the excess in the program appropriations is violative of Section 25, 1, Article 6, and since the General Appropriations Bill was certified as urgent contrary to Section 26, Article 6, is it not?
Your Honor, I just want to point out that in the last 3 paragraphs, Your Honor, we mentioned Article 6, Section 25.4 of the 1987 Constitution, Your Honor.
That is with respect to the 3 readings.
That is with respect to the special.
The 3 readings.
That is with respect to the special appropriations, Your Honor.
Okay. Yes.
Your Honor, I just want to read again or state again that.
No, it's okay, Counsel. That's not part of my question.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Just curious. Since the fiscal year 2024 is already over, is Pimentel III and Alvarez still pursuing their prayer for the 2024 JA to be declared as unconstitutional? It's already 2026, Counsel.
Your Honor, I think there is already precedent for this, Your Honor. In the PhilHealth case, Your Honor, it was ordered that the an excess, Your Honor, to be returned, Your Honor, in the subsequent or next general appropriations act, Your Honor, or the enrolled bill approved by the President. So, using that as basis, Your Honor, I think it is possible, Your Honor, that, but it is post, Your Honor, return, Your Honor, by way of appropriations, Your Honor.
So that to you is the benefit of having the 2024 JA declared as unconstitutional?
Yes, Your Honor. And you're also so also that there may be precedent, Your Honor, that no, we espouse, Your Honor, that the increase in the appropriations was done here, Your Honor, in violation of 25(1) of Article 6, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you, Counsel. I'm done with my interpretation with respect to your clients. May I call on the